University hosts no whites allowed faculty and staff listening sessions to promote inclusivity. Yes, something common we are actually seeing a lot at universities. Not every university, not everywhere, but enough that's kind of disconcerting. Like what we saw at Evergreen, where they requested all the white people leave, is increasing calls for segregation. It's a really fascinating phenomenon I see with the left. It frightens me. It annoys me. It angers me. I've referenced it several times in the past couple of weeks. The New York Times publishing an op-ed that opposes interracial dating. Huffington Post, Jezebel, they're all doing it. It looks like black propaganda written by white supremacists. Black propaganda, let me explain this, would be if someone who hates feminists would create a Twitter account pretending to be a feminist and then write insane things to make feminists look bad. That's black propaganda. You pretend to be your opponent and then say nonsensical things. When I see these stories in the New York Times, when I see these universities doing these things, it really sounds like some white supremacists are pretending to be on the left and then compassionately advocating for white supremacist policy positions. And it apparently works, because we see this story. Wake Forest University is hosting a series of listening sessions for faculty and staff of color that aim to advance inclusion efforts on campus. The listening sessions come amid ongoing racial tensions on campus, including a protest Monday at which some students decried the white supremacy that allegedly runs rampant at the private North Carolina institution. Dear faculty and staff colleagues, this is a reminder about our upcoming listening sessions on inclusion that I am holding for faculty and staff of color over the next several weeks. Stated in an April 18th email from Michelle Gillespie, Dean of the college, to campus employees. The email basically says, like, if you're a person of color, you can meet here and do these things. Please know I've requested all department chairs provide staff release times, yada yada. Gillespie, as well as campus spokeswoman Katie Neal, did not return several emails over the last few days from the college fix seeking comment. As for the campus protest, the Winston-Salem Journal reported a coalition of students, faculty, and, staff at Wake Forest University demanded Monday that university officials immediately begin a zero-tolerance policy for white supremacy after several developments in recent months heightened concerns about racism on campus. What's alarming here is the university definition of white supremacy. They've changed the meaning on purpose. If you go to the average American and say, would you be opposed to, would you agree with a policy to stop white supremacy? They're going to say, oh, yeah, absolutely. Because in their mind, they're thinking neo-Nazis and KKK. In reality, they're talking about this. I know it's kind of hard to see, but they say things like, saying something like two sides to every story is white supremacy. They want to ban that. Remaining apolitical, I kid you not wanting to get involved in politics is white supremacy. We'll come back to this. They say in a pyramid, every brick depends on the ones below it for support. If the bricks at the bottom are removed, the whole structure comes tumbling down. So what they're quite literally saying is, if they stop covering two sides of every story, genocide won't happen. It's actually the opposite. When you have a centralized command government that takes away your ability to speak up, that's actually when the genocide happens, as we've seen throughout history. But let's go back to the story. The article cites a few examples that have riled the campus community, including a racist Instagram post that quipped about building a wall between Wake Forest and its crosstown rival, a historically black university. But does that actually imply white supremacy? Or was it meant to be a dig at Donald Trump and a joke? Was it racially motivated? We really don't know. Also cited was old yearbook blackface photos and a photo of Wake Forest students posing in front of a Confederate flag in the 1980s, two of whom are now WFU administrators. I do not like the idea of going back in time to drag people. We address it now. We say it won't happen again. We've changed the society, and that's it. This is a power play. That's what they do. That Instagram post, it was actually a parody. I called it. As for the blackface photos, there are a few universities across the nation that haven't found a few of those in old yearbooks. And that's not okay. They shouldn't have done it then, and they shouldn't do it today. And so long as they agree it won't happen again, then we're fine, right? And this is let me make this point. See, this is real social justice. Let me tell you about real social justice. It's when you and I say, you know what, we recognize why that was a bad thing. We're not going to do it again. We're done. Congratulations. We have changed society and made an agreement in the social contract about how we won't do these things anymore. Congratulations. You have just received justice. What they're talking about is social retribution. There's a difference. Retribution is like justice would be, we have rectified the situation and come with a just and fair outcome. We will no longer engage in this behavior. It was bad for society. Retribution is, you did it, and I want to see you suffer. I want something in return. So I jokingly refer to these people as social retribution warriors. They don't want justice. I want justice, right? I want to say, let's build a just and fair society. And that means we're all going to smile, shake hands, and begrudgingly move on. Tolerating something doesn't mean accepting something, you know? They say, they've apologized, as for the Confederate flag, they've apologized. Their apologies have never not been accepted. And this is why I say don't do it. This is why Sargon was right not to apologize to the press. They say protesters are likely furious that one of the deans in the 37-year-old photo has refused to step down from her job despite their demands. And although the journal article doesn't mention it, there was another racist incident from February, a student in a cowboy outfit whose lasso was mistaken for a noose. Oh my God. When you get a bunch of people who are too stupid to know what's going on, they're going to say everything's racist and offensive, and it's going to cause problems. Lassos are not offensive. The group leading the accusations of white supremacy and racism calls itself the Wake Forest University Anti-Racism Coalition. Its members refuse to accept that the Build the Wall post was simply a parody in poor judgment, and have maintained it's an acute example of racism and white supremacy at the school. So let's see. Here's the post. It says, write-in vote only. He promises to hold the Swiss and cut prices on pitchers at Shorty's. He has fought fraud twice and won. He wants to build a wall between Wake and Winston-Salem, and he'll make them pay for it. Is that it? was that it? Oh, okay, so that's it. Yeah, he was making a stupid joke. He was making a parody of Donald Trump. And so they're anti-racism coalition. They're naturally angered. The group leading the accusation of white supremacy and racism calls itself the Wake Forest University Anti-Racism Coalition. Its members refuse to accept the Build the Wall post was a joke. And they say, it's an acute example. Indeed, when a white female peer told them to relax and take a joke, she received death threats. Meanwhile, administrators tried to appease the coalition by launching an investigation into the post. Clearly, that didn't work. During Monday's protest, anti-racism coalition members invited WFU President Nathan Hatch and other campus leaders to publicly apologize for the roles they've played in perpetuating WFU's white supremacy. According to a tweet from participants, Hatch, who attended the protest, declined their invitation to tell the crowd he's sorry. So here's the thing. All right, we get it. Maybe I'll come back over. But let's go to this pyramid of white supremacy. And let's talk about what's going on. Minimization. It's just a joke. That leads to genocide. Yes, quite literally, someone making a silly joke about the president they believe is a brick holding up genocide. This is how they can lie to you. It's actually not true. When a command economy, when a centralized government comes down and says you're not allowed to joke, that's typically the sign you're getting close to genocide, not the fact that people can joke. When people have the ability to freely joke about whatever they want, you're in a just and free society for the most part. Comedians can mock the president and get away with it. And that's what he was doing. They want to take away that right. Okay, I'll tell you what. Here's my recommendation to these people. I will buy you a ticket to Thailand right now. I am not joking. And this is for a social justice activist. I will buy you a ticket one way to Thailand because I would like you to go on public and criticize the king in any capacity and film it. And upload it to YouTube and see what happens. I'm joking, by the way. That's all a joke. I'm not giving anybody money. The point I'm trying to make is it was just a joke. You can't even criticize their government. And even if it's a just criticism, you will still be arrested. It's against the law. Typically, that's when things get bad, not the other way around. But let's go through some of these things. Post-racial society. They really don't want a post-racial society. I don't know what they're trying to imply by that. But in my opinion, as someone who comes from a mixed race family, in case you didn't know, I would like to live in a society that isn't going to judge everyone based on their race. And I believe Martin Luther King Jr. felt similarly when he said he wants his children to be judged based on the content of their character, not the color of their skin. So what is this? They want a society where we balkanize everything and everybody's put in their neat little box? Like, that's literally an alt-right argument. What is this garbage that they prance around with? But anyway, I don't want to imply that this is adopted by everybody, but this is one of the things that gets shared around. And the reason I highlight it is that they want to ban white supremacy. Well, quite literally, we saw a fat woman claim that dieting is white supremacy. I'm not kidding. The video's on my YouTube. Like, go back a couple days. You will see this. She says dieting is white supremacy, and that children can't consent to diets. Therefore, it is assault to make them eat healthy. Are you kidding me? You kids got to eat vegetables. So the reason I bring this up, I don't want to rehash the old issue, is that when they say they want to end white supremacy, quite literally, what? What on your campus is defined as white supremacy? Nothing. The way they define it? Insane nonsense. Insane nonsense. It doesn't matter who you vote for. White allies speaking over POC. Really? Okay. Well, I would like to ask all, as a person of color, okay, I would like to ask all of the white people involved in this to stop speaking over me. Actually, I think I'm going to print this out and show this to people and ask them, please, you are engaging in minimization, white supremacy against me. Of course they don't care, because nothing makes sense anymore. Anyway, whatever. I got one more video coming up in a few minutes. I will see you there.